Blood money buys broken hearts. When Chicago millionaire David Richardson found love with a beautiful international student, he thought he'd found salvation. Instead, he found a predator wearing the perfect mask, slipping poison in his morning coffee and stealing millions while he slowly died. Their viral wedding photos showed a fairy tale. No one saw the grave being dug beneath the altar. Before we reveal how this deadly romance unfolded, make sure to subscribe to Crime Canvas. We bring you true stories of deception, justice, and the human cost of greed. Hit that subscribe button now because what you're about to hear will change how you see modern romance forever. David Richardson stared at his reflection in the bathroom mirror of his Lincoln Park mansion. At 52, his salt and pepper hair still turned heads. But his eyes told a different story. Empty and lonely. The $85 million from his tech startup had bought everything except what he needed. Someone who cared if he lived or died. He walked through his 14,000 square foot home. Past the display case housing keys to his Ferrari, Porsche, and Aston Martin. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, Chicago sprawled below like a carpet of lights. Beautiful but distant like his life. Going out again? Jennifer asked without looking up from her phone. At 48, his wife remained stunning thanks to weekly spa treatments and discreet procedures. Another charity thing, David replied, knowing she wouldn't ask for details. Jennifer nodded. Don't wait up. Dinner with the girls. The lie hung between them. They hadn't shared a bedroom in 3 years. No divorce papers, but their marriage had flatlined. Jennifer stayed for the mansion and social status. David stayed out of fear of making the emptiness official. At the charity gala, David moved through practiced motions, shaking hands, making donations, offering empty smiles. He checked his phone. No messages from his college-age children who rarely called and clearly sided with their mother. His only real connection was the Northwestern mentoring program. There for a few hours he mattered as a person, not a checkbook. Later, alone in his office, he wrote in his journal. Another day of being seen but not seen. I've become successful but invisible. A wallet, not a human. Across Chicago in a cramped apartment, Priya Sharma hunted. At 25, she was beautiful with deep brown eyes projecting innocence while hiding calculation. On her desk, a perfect Northwestern transcript sat beside a folder labeled DR Project. Behind a false wall in her closet lay the truth. Detailed files on David, chemical formulas for untraceable poisons, and communications with the network. 10 months remained on her student visa with $190,000 in family loans from dangerous people in Delhi, and her father needing heart surgery they couldn't afford. Before America, she'd been part of an identity theft ring in Delhi. When authorities closed in, she escaped on a student visa, reinventing herself while becoming the network's top talent scout targeting vulnerable wealthy men. He's perfect, she whispered, touching a photo of David. Emotionally starved, trapped in a dead marriage, children who've abandoned him, desperately seeking validation. Priya's timeline. 3 months to emotional dependency, 6 to marriage, 3 more to transfer funds and disappear. $35 million minimum. Enough to save her family before David even realized what happened. What her handlers didn't know, she'd modified the compound to ensure David wouldn't just lose money, but his life. Soon, she promised her parents' photo, showing genuine emotion for once. What made Priya truly dangerous wasn't just her intelligence or beauty, but that she would do absolutely anything to save her family, including murder. The Northwestern mentoring session buzzed with energy as eager students pitched their ideas to industry veterans. David Richardson sat at his assigned table, reviewing a disappointing proposal when a voice interrupted his thoughts. "Excuse me, Mr. Richardson. I'm so sorry to bother you, but I've completely reworked my security protocol based on your feedback last month, and I was wondering if you might have 2 minutes to look at it again." David looked up to find a young woman clutching a laptop, her eyes bright with a mix of intelligence and uncertainty. He didn't remember giving her feedback before, but was immediately struck by the genuine passion in her voice. "Of course," he said, gesturing to the empty chair beside him. "And please call me David. I'm Priya." "Priya Sharma," she said, sitting down with a grateful smile. "I'm actually specializing in predictive security algorithms. Your paper on quantum-resistant encryption changed everything about my approach." As she opened her laptop and walked him through her project, David found himself genuinely impressed. Her work was brilliant. Not just technically sound, but innovative in ways that showed true creativity. What struck him most was how she presented her ideas. Confident in the work, but seeking his guidance, valuing his experience in a way that made him feel necessary. "This is remarkable," he said honestly. "Have you thought about how this would scale in enterprise environments?" Priya's face lit up at the question, and for the next hour, they lost themselves in technical discussion. For the first time in months, David forgot about his empty house and failing marriage. Here was someone who saw him. Really saw him for his mind rather than his money. "I've taken up too much of your time," Priya said finally, looking at her watch with a start. "Not at all." In fact, David heard himself saying, "Would you like to continue this over coffee? There's a great place just off campus." Their coffee meeting stretched to 3 hours. Priya was everything his social circle wasn't. Genuinely interested in ideas, humble despite her obvious intelligence, and refreshingly direct when she hesitantly shared her visa concerns and family pressures. David felt a protective instinct he hadn't experienced in years. "I'd really value your advice about the industry," she said as they parted. "Most of my professors have been in academia so long they don't understand how things really work." "How about dinner next week?" he suggested. "I know some people who might be interested in your work." One dinner became 2, then weekly. Priya always arrived with thoughtful questions about his career and ideas, making David feel like the mentor and guide he'd longed to be. She listened to his stories with rapt attention, laughed at his jokes, and most importantly, seemed to see the man behind the millions. When Priya tentatively shared problems with her student housing or worry about her father's health back in India, it gave David something he desperately needed. Someone to protect, someone who needed him. "You were out late," Jennifer commented one night as David returned home smiling after dinner with Priya. "Mentoring session ran long," he replied, not bothering to elaborate. Jennifer merely nodded, already focused on her phone, planning her next meeting. In his journal that night, David wrote, "For the first time in years, I feel alive again. He looks at me and actually sees me, not my bank account or what I can provide. When she asks my opinion, it's because she values my thoughts, not because she's going through the motions. I've forgotten what it feels like to be truly seen by another person." What David didn't see was Priya in her apartment later that night, typing a detailed report to her handlers. Target fully engaged. Emotional dependency developing exactly as projected. He craves validation and purpose, which I'm providing in controlled doses. Estimate phase 2 can begin 2 weeks ahead of schedule. His wife remains indifferent, creating perfect conditions for accelerated timeline. Their first kiss happened outside a small Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago. As David hesitantly leaned in, clearly worried about their age difference, Priya rose up on her toes to meet him halfway, her hand gently touching his face in a gesture so tender it nearly broke him. For a man who had been emotionally starving for years, her affection was like water in a desert. "I know there are complications," Priya whispered, perfectly calibrating her vulnerability. "Your marriage, my visa situation, our age difference. But when I'm with you, those things don't seem to matter. You make me feel safe in a way I never have before." The relationship accelerated rapidly after that night. When Priya tearfully confessed that her roommate was bringing dangerous people to their apartment and she didn't feel safe, David immediately offered his guest house. "Until you find something better." Her few possessions were moved in the next day. Social media exploded with their first public photo. David and Priya at a tech conference, his arm protectively around her shoulders as she looked up at him adoringly. Her caption read, "Sometimes your mentor becomes your miracle. Age is just a number when souls connect." The post went viral in Chicago tech circles, drawing thousands of supportive comments, and just as many raised eyebrows. Jennifer confronted him that evening, not out of jealousy, but concern for her social position. "You're making a fool of yourself with that girl," she said coldly. "She's younger than your daughter. At least she sees me as a person, not an ATM," David replied. The argument ended with Jennifer delivering an ultimatum. The girl leaves or she would make the divorce as publicly messy as possible. By morning, Jennifer had consulted her lawyers and offered a different approach. A separation agreement that maintained her lifestyle and social standing while allowing David his midlife crisis. Papers were signed within days, with Jennifer moving to their lakefront property with a generous monthly allowance. Priya's social media campaign shifted into high gear, documenting their fairy tale love story with carefully staged photos. David teaching her to drive his Ferrari. Romantic dinners with the Chicago skyline in the background. Quiet moments in his home library where she looked at him with perfectly crafted adoration. Each post garnered more attention than the last, building a narrative of unexpected love that transcended age and background. "My Indian parents always taught me that wisdom and kindness matter more than youth," she wrote beneath a photo of them at sunset. "In David, I found a brilliant mind and a gentle heart that makes me feel like the luckiest girl in America." Behind closed doors, Priya was executing phase 2 with precision. "I'm so worried about your investment portfolio," she'd say, creating opportunities to access his financial information. Let me help organize your accounts. I'm taking finance as a minor. Or you work too hard. Let me handle these property documents so you can rest. David introduced her at major tech events, glowing with pride as industry leaders were impressed by her intelligence and charm. She's not just beautiful, he told his oldest friend after a dinner party. She's literally the most brilliant person I've met in years. Sometimes I wonder what she sees in me. What the world didn't see were Priya's encrypted late-night communications with her network handlers. Access achieved to primary accounts. Legal documents being modified to include me on properties. Timeline accelerated by 30%. Target completely emotionally dependent. If you're finding this story as shocking as we did while researching it, please take a moment to subscribe to Crime Canvas. We need your support to continue bringing these important true crime stories to light. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. The first health symptoms began 6 months into their relationship. Subtle at first, easily dismissed as stress or fatigue. Occasional dizziness, slight memory lapses, heart palpitations that came and went. Priya had begun adding tasteless, odorless compounds to his morning smoothies. Not enough to cause alarm, just enough to create concerning symptoms that would later support the narrative of a stress-induced decline. "You're working too hard," she would say, pressing her hand to his forehead with concern. "Let me take care of you. Have you seen a doctor? Let me make that appointment for you." In a move that stunned even her handlers, Priya orchestrated a proposal that reversed traditional roles. During a dinner party with key tech industry leaders present, she dropped to one knee, presenting David with a platinum watch. "You gave me a future when mine was uncertain," she said, cameras capturing every perfectly rehearsed word. "You showed me what real partnership means. David Richardson, would you do me the extraordinary honor of becoming my husband?" The video went viral within hours, praised for its progressive role reversal and emotional authenticity. Comments poured in celebrating their love story. Age is just a number. True love knows no boundaries. The way she looks at him. Their engagement party at his Lincoln Park mansion was the event of the season, with tech billionaires and celebrities raising glasses to love that breaks all barriers. Across the room, Jennifer watched with thinly disguised contempt, a younger date on her arm for appearance's sake. What no one saw was Priya in the bathroom between toasts, sending a final update to her handlers. Engagement secured. Wedding fast-tracked due to visa concerns. Estimated timeline to complete financial transfer and exit, 90 days. Marriage dissolves naturally when Target's health fails catastrophically. As David pulled her close on the dance floor, whispering how she had brought him back to life, Priya looked up at him with eyes that perfectly mimicked love while calculating exactly how long he had left to live. The lakefront wedding was intimate but luxurious, with Lake Michigan providing a stunning backdrop as David and Priya exchanged vows at sunset. Only 35 guests attended, mostly influential tech industry friends and a few of Priya's classmates who were actually network associates positioned to validate her backstory. David's children declined their invitations, while Jennifer was overseas on a conveniently timed vacation. Priya wore a simple white dress that made her look even younger, her dark hair adorned with flowers as she promised to cherish and protect the man she had already begun to poison. "I never thought I'd find love again," David said in his vows, his voice breaking with genuine emotion. "You've brought light back into my life when I thought I would always live in shadows." Priya's smile was radiant as she slipped the platinum ring onto his finger. Behind her practiced tears of joy was cold calculation. This ceremony wasn't just a wedding. It was the official transfer of legal access to his empire. The ink had barely dried on their marriage certificate when Priya was at the immigration office the next morning, filing paperwork for her permanent residency. David had insisted on coming with her, proud to support his new wife's path to citizenship. The immigration officer smiled at them, commenting on what a lovely couple they made. 3 hours later, they left with Priya's provisional green card application fast-tracked due to her marriage to a prominent American citizen. "Now you never have to worry about going back to India," David said, squeezing her hand as they walked to his car. "You're home now." "Thanks to you," Priya replied, resting her head on his shoulder while mentally reviewing the next phase of her plan. Within a week, David had added Priya as a joint holder on his primary accounts, transferred one of his downtown properties into her name as a wedding gift, and begun the process of updating his will. His friends raised concerns about the speed of these financial entanglements, but David dismissed them as jealousy or prejudice against his young foreign wife. As their 1-month anniversary approached, David's health began to deteriorate more noticeably. The occasional dizziness became frequent. Memory gaps stretched from moments to hours. Heart palpitations evolved into chest pain that would leave him gasping for breath. 3 different specialists ordered tests but found nothing conclusive, suggesting stress, overwork, or early heart disease as possible causes. "I'm worried sick about you," Priya would say, her face a perfect mask of concern as she prepared his daily smoothie, carefully adding the colorless, tasteless compounds she'd synthesized using her chemistry knowledge. The dosage was precise. Enough to cause alarming symptoms, but not enough to trigger suspicion in standard medical tests. "Maybe you should step back from work completely. Let me take care of everything." Social media became Priya's perfect alibi. Daily posts showed her as the devoted caregiver. 4 in the morning and still awake monitoring his breathing, or researched all night to find specialists who can help my love. Comments flooded in praising her dedication. "True love knows no age. You're an angel. What a devoted wife." These public displays of concern provided the perfect cover for her systematic isolation of David from anyone who might notice patterns in his declining health. By their 3rd month of marriage, Priya had successfully transferred over $19 million to untraceable accounts, with another $13 million in process. Her reports to her handlers were triumphant. Asset extraction proceeding ahead of schedule. Target's health declining rapidly with no medical suspicion. Estimate full completion within 30 to 45 days. What she didn't account for was David having moments of complete clarity between poisoning episodes. During one such period, while Priya was at a charity event, actually meeting with her network handler, David found himself thinking more clearly than he had in weeks. The tech security expert who had built a fortune protecting digital systems suddenly applied those same analytical skills to the most important investigation of his life. What was happening to his mind and body? Using secured browsers and advanced encryption protocols that wouldn't leave traces on their home network, David began methodically investigating his young wife. His cybersecurity background gave him access to tools and techniques unavailable to most people. He started with her academic records, finding inconsistencies in her transfer credits from India. Digging deeper, he uncovered her original identity and connected it to an unsolved fraud case in Delhi involving a ring of sophisticated identity thieves. Each discovery led to another, more disturbing revelation. In a secured law enforcement database he still had backdoor access to from consulting work, David found patterns of similar cases across America. Wealthy older men who had married young foreign women, only to suffer mysterious health declines or sudden deaths within a year. The connecting thread was nearly invisible, but to David's trained eye, it formed a clear pattern leading to what appeared to be an international organization specializing in marriage fraud and inheritance theft. Most devastating was his discovery of Priya's secret communications with her handlers. Using advanced recovery techniques on their home network traffic, he uncovered fragments of encrypted messages discussing his accelerated timeline and asset extraction completion. His hands shook as he read clinical discussions of his declining health and projected date of death. The final confirmation came from private medical testing he arranged without Priya's knowledge. Using a former colleague as an intermediary, David had his blood and hair secretly analyzed by a specialized toxicology lab. The results confirmed his worst fears. His system contained traces of sophisticated compounds designed to mimic natural disease progression while causing organ damage over time. David was still processing this devastating betrayal when he heard Priya's car in the driveway. With shaking hands, he closed the files but left the medical report open on his screen. When she entered his home office with her usual loving smile and a fresh smoothie, he simply turned the monitor toward her. "What is this?" Priya asked, her smile faltering only slightly. "I know everything," David said quietly. "The network, your past in Delhi, the others before me, the poison." For a moment, Priya maintained her concerned wife persona. But as David continued laying out evidence, the financial transfers, her encrypted communications, the toxicology results, her expression changed completely. The warm, loving eyes that had captivated him turned cold and calculating. Her posture shifted from the slightly submissive pose she usually adopted to something more confident, more predatory. "Well," she finally said with a small shrug, setting down the poison smoothie. "I'm almost impressed. Most men never figure it out until they're already dead." The transformation was so complete it seemed impossible. This was the same woman he'd married. Gone was any trace of the vulnerable student who had needed his protection and guidance. In her place stood a clinical predator assessing a threat. "You were selected because you were perfect," she explained with chilling detachment. "Wealthy but emotionally starved, successful but insecure, desperate enough for validation that you'd ignore every red flag. The lonely rich man and his young foreign bride. Such a predictable pattern. She laughed when David mentioned going to the authorities. With what evidence? Most of what you found would be inadmissible or could be explained away. And who do you think they'll believe? The controlling older white millionaire, or the young Indian immigrant wife he's clearly trying to silence? She pulled out her phone, showing him edited recordings of arguments they'd had, photos of bruises she'd created with makeup, and a journal documenting fictional abuse. One call and I become the terrified immigrant victim escaping her controlling husband. You become another rich predator exposed. Your reputation, your company, your legacy all destroyed. David stared at her, struggling to reconcile this cold stranger with the woman he'd believed loved him. What? Was any of it real? Business, not personal, Priya replied with a small shrug. Though I will say you made it remarkably easy. So desperate to be seen, to be needed, so grateful for the smallest crumbs of affection. Her contempt was clear. Pathetic, really? She checked her watch casually. Not that it matters now. I've already transferred $32 million to accounts you'll never find. The poison in your system has caused permanent damage. According to our medical projections, you have perhaps 6 weeks before complete organ failure, which will appear as natural causes to any standard autopsy. As she turned to leave his office, she delivered her final blow. Your choice now is simple. Die quietly as the loving husband of your devoted young wife who inherits everything, or die disgraced, broke, and alone while fighting accusations that will destroy whatever legacy you hope to leave. Either way you die. The only question is what remains afterward. David sat in stunned silence as she closed the door behind her. Through the haze of betrayal and physical symptoms, one thought crystallized with perfect clarity. He might be dying, but he would not be going quietly. 3 days after the confrontation, David played the role of a defeated man. He apologized to Priya for his paranoid accusations, while secretly fighting the most important battle of his life. Using a hidden phone, he contacted FBI Special Agent Robert Martinez. I don't have much time, David whispered. I've uncovered an international network targeting wealthy men through marriage fraud and poisoning. I'm their latest victim, but I won't be their last unless we stop them. Despite failing health, David built his case methodically. His hands trembled as he created a secure cloud repository with evidence of Priya's activities. Most crucial was his dead man switch, a digital time bomb set to activate 24 hours after his death, sending evidence packages to authorities and journalists. In his office, while Priya attended a charity luncheon, David recorded his testimony. His once robust frame now gaunt, skin yellowed, but eyes burning with purpose as he detailed everything. I ignored every warning sign because she made me feel alive when I'd been dead inside for years, he admitted. My blindness cost me my life, but perhaps my death can save others. David transferred his remaining $24 million to trusts for his children and charities. As his strength faded, he made his final decision. He mixed a concentrated version of Priya's poison, ensuring his death would appear natural but accelerating the timeline. After recording a final message for his children, he swallowed the mixture and closed his eyes. Priya discovered his body hours later, calling 911 with perfectly performed hysteria. She frantically accessed his computers while following network protocols. Alone after paramedics left, she found lower account balances than expected and inaccessible servers. Asset access compromised, she whispered to her handler. Timeline accelerated unexpectedly. The funeral became a media spectacle. What Priya didn't notice were the FBI agents positioned throughout the cemetery. 24 hours after David's death, as mourners gathered at the mansion, his dead man switch activated. As Priya accepted condolences, Agent Martinez approached. Mrs. Richardson, you're under arrest for the murder of David Richardson, fraud and conspiracy. The shock on Priya's face was for once genuine. As cameras captured her being led through the crowd in handcuffs, she hissed, "You have no idea who you're dealing with." Actually, Martinez replied, "Thanks to your husband, we know exactly who we're dealing with." Across 5 countries, raids targeted network operatives identified through David's evidence. Headlines proclaimed, "Tech mogul's final code, justice from beyond the grave." FBI investigations revealed 14 wealthy men murdered under similar circumstances. In interrogation, Priya's sophisticated persona crumbled. Men like David are predictable, she explained with disturbing detachment. So desperate for validation they ignore every warning sign. Forensic teams discovered her second apartment containing poisons, multiple identities, and files on potential targets. The case prompted changes to immigration marriage investigations and tech industry security practices. 6 months later, David's children established the Richardson Foundation for Fraud Prevention. "Our father's final act was his most meaningful," his daughter Sarah said. "He transformed his tragedy into protection for others." In prison, Priya's calculating nature remained active, while network leaders who escaped the raids began recruiting new operatives. 1 year after his death, Sarah read her father's final journal entry. "Sometimes the only way to prove your love is real is to sacrifice everything for the truth. The network thought they chose me as their victim, never realizing they'd selected the one man who could destroy them. In chess, sometimes you sacrifice your king to win the game. Checkmate." Sarah closed the journal, finally understanding the father she had nearly lost without truly knowing. David Richardson's story is a devastating reminder that loneliness can make us vulnerable in ways we never imagined. His desperate need to be seen, to be valued, to be loved, created blind spots that a predator exploited with surgical precision. But his final act transformed him from victim to hero. The evidence he gathered led to the dismantling of an international criminal network and saved countless future victims. If this story moved you, if it opened your eyes to the dangers of modern romance fraud, please subscribe to Crime Canvas. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Your engagement helps us continue investigating these critical stories and spreading awareness that could save lives. Remember, legitimate love builds you up and encourages healthy connections with friends and family. It doesn't isolate you, rush you into financial decisions, or make you question your own judgment. Stay vigilant. Stay connected. And never ignore the warning signs, no matter how perfect someone seems. This has been Crime Canvas. Until next time, stay safe.